Front Row and 2311 getting some help from some NASCAR personalities in their lawsuit. We'll talk more about some of the fallout from Talladega that I didn't get a chance to address in the video yesterday. And Legacy is making a change up at crew chief, so let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, let's start off with Legacy here. They are making a crew chief change on the 43. Dave Ellens is going to be out. Dave Ellens, of course, a big part of that 43 team. Now, it's not clear whether he left or whether Legacy let him go. All they said in the statement was Legacy MC and Dave Ellens have parted ways, and the organization would like to thank Dave for his stewardship of the 43 over the past 3 seasons. Cal Wells III. In continuation of the competition realignment, Ben Bayshore will move to the 43 as crew chief for Eric Jones. Newly appointed technical director Brian Campy will serve as interim crew chief for the number 42 of John Hunter Nemechek, effective this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway via Legacy Motor Club. And I read that, of course, on J-Ski, but Dave Ellens does have a win with the 43 and Eric Jones. He also previously worked with Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson, of course, he won several races with at JRM, including 2 championships at JRM in the Xfinity Series. So this could be a move where he's going to go rejoin Noah Gragson maybe over there at Front Row Motorsports, or anything could happen. Maybe he rejoins Hendrick Motorsports. Used to work over there as well, but big move here from Legacy. Jones currently 30th in points, and John Hunter Nemechek currently 34th in points. So they're taking the 34th in points man and moving him over. Of course, that 34th in points is because of a lot of DNFs from John Hunter Nemechek. So we'll have to see how the shakeup works out for them going forward in the future, and if there are going to be any more changes over there at Legacy going forward. So I mentioned Junior Motorsports there because of Dave Ellens. Junior Motorsports is also making some news because they're going to appeal the disqualification of Sam Mayer and the number 1 team following last weekend's event at Talladega Superspeedway. That, of course, where Sam Mayer failed post-race inspection because the car was too low. So I guess they're going to say they got some type of race damage or just, race wear and tear, regular wear and tear. That's why the car was below ride height or whatever. This being Motor Stardom, formerly NASCAR Report on Instagram. 6:37 is when it came in and said we had to sign it by 12 or else we lose our charters. I didn't have a choice because we had to sign. I got over 400 employees, OEM in contracts with sponsors, and I got to take care of my team, Richard Childress, on the process that led him to signing the new charter agreement from NASCAR. And that quote, of course, coming from a Bob Pockrass interview with Richard Childress. And I'm glad that he came out and said this because when it was announced that 2 teams were hanging out and not going to sign the charter and were going to sort of file a suit against NASCAR, I was for sure thinking RCR was going to be one of them, just given the history of Richard Childress and how he operates. I was thinking he would be one of them, so I was really surprised that he was one of the guys that signed. But now learning that they had a deadline or they lose their charters, and him mentioning that all the sponsorship and all the contracts that they have going forward, he's got to take care of his 400 employees there, it completely makes sense why he would sign it. And it also helps out the 2311 case from the standpoint of where their lawyer said, hey, the teams felt forced into this and they didn't want to stand up to the bully. So this sort of shows that NASCAR was using those tactics according to, 2311's lawyer. So it's looking good for them there. Like, I'm not a legal expert. I don't know which way this is going to go one way or the other. I don't even know if that's something you can, sue about or anything like that. But if they can, that definitely leads, or benefits 2311 and Front Row Motorsports in their lawsuit, but they're possibly going to get some more help from another avenue because Jeremy Mayfield tweeted this: anyone tell me who Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan's attorney is? With contact info. Then Joel Riddle would say, pretty sure that ship has sailed. Jeremy Mayfield responds by saying, not sure what ship you're talking about, just got some info they could use. So there you go. Hell hath no fury like a driver scorn. Jeremy Mayfield, of course, went through all of his troubles with NASCAR back in the day. Apparently, he has saved some of those files. He's got some receipts that he thinks 2311 could possibly use for evidence going forward in their lawsuit. So very, very interesting to see what help Jeremy Mayfield possibly could give 2311. And just totally random, out of the blue, Jeremy Mayfield said, hey, let me jump in here and get on this, because obviously he's still holding a pretty heavy grudge against NASCAR, and if he feels like he was wrong somehow and it shortened his career, you can kind of see where he's coming from with that, no doubt. And finally, a few people wanted me to address the door controversy from Talladega, that being a piece of the 47's door. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s door was missing because he had some contact in a wreck. And a lot of people were thinking, hey, you've got to come in there and fix that. Well, here's the deal. And I've said this a million times. It's a NASCAR judgment call. So NASCAR made the judgment call, apparently, or NASCAR actually said that they missed it. That's the official NASCAR line there. But at the end of the day, it's a NASCAR judgment call, and, well, NASCAR judged that he didn't have to come in there and fix it, and that's what I've been talking about for the longest time now. NASCAR has too many deals where it's a judgment call. It's a judgment call. It's not a black and white rule, and once again, a NASCAR judgment call has jumped up and bit them, or it's just complete incompetence from the race officials by completely missing it. Whichever way you want to get into it. That being said, we've seen cars finish races with less pieces and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I don't think this is a big deal at all. I didn't even really pay attention to it until after the fact yesterday when a bunch of people were like, hey, how come you didn't talk about the hole in the door? I just didn't pay attention to it. It's not something I really look at. A lot of people saying it was a safety issue. I don't think it's a safety issue at all because if you saw my video where I went to the Hall of Fame, here's the side of the next-gen car, completely sealed, so I don't really see it's a safety issue. That foam does absorb some impact, but I don't think anything's getting through that steel wall. It is a very thick steel plate right there by the driver, so a little bit of a safety issue, but not that big because it's just a small hole. The rest of that foam was still there, the energy impact foam or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there you go. I addressed it, not scared to talk about it, just I didn't think it was a big deal, so I didn't put it in there. Another thing I didn't really think was a big deal was Kyle Larson. Obviously, there's a Kyle Larson bias. I'm not going to hide from that. But Kyle Larson getting team communications saying don't push a Ford to victory. A lot of people saying that's race manipulation and things like that. I don't really see that as race manipulation because how many times at super speedways have we seen teams work together? Like all the Chevrolets at one point were running with Chevrolets. All the Fords at one point were running with Fords. And I'll go as far to say this, and I understand Keselowski's mad about it. But if the tables were turned and there was a Ford leading and Keselowski was pushing a Chevrolet, there's no doubt in my mind Keselowski would have done the exact same thing. So, it is what it is. It's unfortunate that you have manufacturer racing team orders and stuff like that, but, it kind of is what it is, and that's just the way these super speedways are always gone. So I don't necessarily see it as race manipulation because every single team does it, but, super speedways, you can claim race manipulation all day. How come this guy pushed this guy pushed this guy to the win? So it is what it is. I didn't see it as a big deal, but some people did. If you're a Brad Keselowski fan, I can 100% see where you're coming from with it. But if I was in that boat too, I wouldn't be happy about it. But I don't think it is letter of the law race manipulation. But that's just my take. Could be completely wrong. Like I said, definite bias to anybody named Kyle, anybody driving at RCR, and anybody driving the 43. I will openly admit that, but I do the best I can to call it down the middle as I see it, and that's all you can do in life. All right, that's all I got for you on this one. If you made it this far, would love to have your subscription. If not, I'll just keep making these things. If you got a question, comment, or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many of them as I can. If you want to join us tonight on the live stream, that's going to start at 8 p.m. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace. Merch store, link is in the description. Buy a hat, get a free t-shirt. All right, now I'm really done.